Boy, golly, this sure was one hot, wet, and American summer, now wasn't it? So next up, guys, we watched Wet, Hot American Summer, okay?
This movie was pretty funny.
It was a pretty funny film. Now, Tanner, can you maybe describe it for us?
Oh, God.
You, just watched it, so it should be fresh in your brain.
True, but, God, I don't know. What's more specific than saying wacky summer camp hijinks, but less specific than actually going through the plot?
I mean, you can, briefly go through the plot.
Well,
only the real parts that matter. A lot of it doesn't.
It's the last day of summer camp, and, everyone's fucking. And, they're very irresponsible with the children. And, they're all adults, but they're playing teenagers. And there's wacky summer camp hijinks.
There sure are, man. There sure are.
There's, I think the only through line in the story, really, is the one guy trying to get with the one girl.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part. There are, some, minor pieces of character development and stuff here and there, but...
Yeah.
For the most part, it's only, the real big thing. Also, there's, a fucking piece of, a satellite or some shit coming out of the sky that's going to destroy the camp! And so the astrologist who's...
Well, I will say they introduce and resolve that in, 15 minutes. So...
Yeah. No, I mean, the guy mentions it, a lot throughout the movie, though.
Does he?
Yeah, he brings
does,
it up several times.
Pretty early on, he's, looking at the sky, and he's like, what do you see? Or something, and he's, checking it out. They have, a lot of, random, little subtle hints that they show about stuff early on. For example, another subtle hint about the guy being gay when he was, adamantly trying to see the video of the guy jacking off in the webcam.
Yeah.
Yeah, very subtle.
Yeah, very subtle little hint. But, the movie's full of stuff like that. Honestly, I think the movie was more enjoyable in the second watch, because Nico and I watched it together with Tanner again. At least for me, it was more enjoyable, just because there was a lot of little intricacies I missed the first time, and, the jokes kind of, flew a bit better, because I knew what was coming.
Yeah, I'd absolutely say so as well.
This is a very good parody movie for, the high school summer camp setting. Again, with Tanner, he also wanted this movie thinking it was just going to be some generic summer camp film, and it was not that. I was happily surprised with it just being a fucking parody of those types of movies, and or, I guess, just the event of summer camp itself.
Dude, I would never pick a movie like that. Please ignore Take Me Home Tonight. So yeah, I thought that this movie was pretty good, guys. It was a pretty enjoyable, funny little romp, there were a few, there were definitely some standout jokes here and there. For example, there was the whole thing with the gurnal. I really like the whole gurnal bit. Tanner has no idea what I'm talking about right now, Jackson. He doesn't know about the gurnal.
I like Capture the Flag.
Yeah, the Capture the Flag moment's also pretty crazy.
Yeah, I like the fucking, I guess the main guy, the guy we see the most, just being, insanely autistic and awkward the entire movie. Pretty funny. I think the acting is honestly a very standout thing with this movie for me. They play their characters really fucking well. For example, the big douchebag guy, I think, and main character autistic guy are definitely the two standout ones for me. Because they just totally fit their characters. They're so fucking awkward for the autistic guy. He, totally acts super weirdly the whole fucking time. And then the douchebag guy, constantly making the faces all the time. His, random intricacies totally match up with what I'd expect it to be. Big fan. I think the acting is really solid throughout this entire movie.
I definitely did like it. However, I do think they kind of left a bit to be desired in some areas. So specifically for me, I think a big part that I didn't really like too much about the acting was there were quite a few little skits and shit that they do throughout this, where it definitely feels less like these are characters and more so these actors doing silly things on a screen right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But when they were playing their characters, I think they did it well. Obviously, I'm not talking about when they're fucking shooting up heroin in a fucking trap house when they went to town for that one time. That's not a part of their character. But you know.
I definitely think that scene's. I mean, if I think that they just kind of played it a bit better, then it would make more sense. It just kind of feels I don't know. They just don't really sell it super well for me. Another big part is when they're fucking ransacking the a hospital or whatever the fuck, because the guy called and he's at the camp now or whatever. It just very much so feels oh man, we gotta do this funny thing now where we're like trashing this fucking hospital. It's crazy.
I mean, they're just,
Isn't it
I think they're just
funny?
playing. I think they're just trying to parody like all those scenes where like it's supposed to be some really intense situation. They're trying to like resolve it as quickly as possible, and they're just like fucking destroying the ways. I thought it was pretty well done. I thought it was funny.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely what they're trying to do there, but at the same time, I just don't think they do it very well.
Yeah, I feel like with that scene, there seemed to be a weird shift in like not necessarily the tone, but the presentation of the movie. Like I feel like that was the first time.
Like that.
I feel like that scene was the first time where it was like a handheld shaky cam following him around instead of being like camera shots and shit. Something felt different about that then continued throughout the rest of the movie, and it felt more amateurish than like, oh, this is like a big budget comedy movie.
Well, I mean, the budget in general for this movie is really fucking small.
I mean, like, quote unquote.
My interpretation of that was because they're trying to like set up like a climax to the film, which is there's a bunch of like these big stupid events going on, like the kids are gonna get washed down the fucking river, or this piece of space debris is gonna crush the auditorium, whatever they're doing, the rec house or whatever it's called. And I think they're just trying to, I don't know. They changed the presentation of the movie because they're trying to make it like a fast pace and like this is like some intense thing that's happening. That's how I took it, at least. Yeah,
I definitely do. By the way, for the child actors here, boys, for the child actors, how'd you guys feel about them? What do you say?
None of them came across me as being like bad, and so I thought at some of them were very funny. Most of them were just like, yeah, that's a child.
Yeah, I think that's serviceable. I mean, they're acting like kids. I can't really knock it at all.
Yeah, I definitely do think that generally they did a decent job. However, like, again, similar to like their adult counterparts, there were a few parts here and there where it was like, they're not really selling this very well for me at all. For example, like, when they're in peril, when they're about to go down the big old rapids or whatever, they're gonna fucking die or fucking whatever,
Yeah, some of them just weren't even acting. They're just sitting there. I mean, yeah, I think that was the point, though. Is like it's clearly not supposed to be an intense situation at all, and they're just like faking it.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because like they had like a couple shots of, like the kids screaming or whatever, but like a couple of them just had like big old smiles on their faces.
I mean, I think they're really just playing into the fact that this is like not a serious situation at all. Like this is
I don't
just
think
some
it's
fucking
what they were trying to do, though, Jackson. Like obviously,
I agree with Jackson. I think that's what they were going for.
Like they literally weren't fucking moving, and then like the saving process was like entirely handled off screen with just the fucking dude like pointing like, "Oh yeah, you're so awesome, let's go." It was like clearly just some fucking stupid, dumb bullshit they were making, and they weren't taking it seriously at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, like I think that like that joke would have like hit much better had they had actually like kind of felt like the kids were in peril. Like obviously they weren't going to be, and like the movie wasn't really gonna like try and make it seem like they were that much. But at the same time, like just make the kids like not be fucking smiling or whatever,
I see your viewpoint, man, but I just disagree. I don't really think it would have been improved that much. I honestly think it was kind of funny that they just didn't give a shit at all.
I see. Okay.
I thought it was like there's like just some kids like sitting there smiling and other kids are like freaking out. I thought it was funny.
Alright, so boys, do we have any other like real notes for this film? Like it's a comedy. What can we really say other than like going through like each bit here and there and be like, this one was funny. I like this one.
Right.
Sounds like we don't really have much else. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna be starting us off here, boys. I'm gonna be giving fucking Wet Hot American Summer a B-. It maybe would have been a little higher, but these motherfuckers had a Wilhelm scream in the film, not once but twice. These pieces of shit.
It's a comedy, Nico.
Yeah, they're playing the glass breaking sound effect all the fucking time too.
I love the glass breaking sound effect. I thought it was hilarious that they kept reusing it.
You just don't like the Wilhelm scream.
I hate the Wilhelm scream. Fuck it.
I only noticed it once actually, but yeah, I'm giving it an A- myself.
You said A-?
A-. I thought it was pretty funny. I think it's pretty comparable in quality to the other comedy movies I've seen. Like I gave fucking Ferris Bueller's Day Off an A, and I think they're relatively similar in terms of comedy. Ferris Bueller just had a higher budget.
Okay.
I could do more with it.
I'm giving this one an A.
An A. There we go.
Decently high ranking across the board, except for mine.
True, that puts it at a B+.
So not across the board.
Decently high.
It was almost
B+.
good. B+.